What's up, everyone? Jared Wright here of Right Heart Media Live, West Louisville in the Portland area. I believe this is Boone Square Park. It's like the 1900 block of Duncan. But just behind me, someone gave me a tip that there was a warrant being executed, here, and I happened to be nearby, so I ran over. Not sure of the details of the warrant, but LMPD S.W.A.T is here. There's, of course, officers that are blocking each end of the intersections. I do know that LMPD, before I was able to go live, we were able to witness them giving at least 4 warnings, of the address, any inhabitants, to come out the front door unarmed, and that there was a search warrant. So they did say that over a bullhorn at least 4 times. But let's get a look at the building and the SWAT truck out front. They already went in before I was able to go live, but yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. You might not be able to hear it, but I can hear dogs barking. I'm not sure if those are LMPD's drug dogs or if it's just neighborhood dogs that happen to be in that direction, but you can definitely hear some dogs barking from that direction. First, it kind of seemed like it was going to be an armed standoff, but honestly, I don't know if anyone was even in there, because, like I said, it was like half a second, and then they were already in the building before I was able to go live. They haven't brought anybody out either that we have seen. But again, you can see intersections are blocked off by multiple LMPD officers. There are, of course, some neighborhood people that have gathered to take witness as well. But you hear over a megaphone that LMPD is executing a search warrant, and you're in my position, you feel a little obligated to go live. This is Western Louisville, it's the Portland area. It's the 1900 block of Duncan, I believe. No details on the search warrant in and of itself, but we were able to hear LMPD announce 4 times that they had a search warrant, that they were going to be coming in, and that anyone that is in the building should come out with, unarmed, with their hands up. So they did actually, through a bullhorn, announce 4 times that they had a search warrant. Again, I don't even know if there's anyone in the building. They've gone in, haven't really came out. There was one guy that came out for a second, went back in, but they haven't removed anyone from the building. Again, there were some dogs barking a moment ago, maybe drug dogs, not sure. Ooh.
Flash bomb. Ooh.
See that poof of smoke right back there? Yeah, that might have been a flashbang.
Yeah, it absolutely was.
So again, that's why this is why I felt an obligation whenever I got the tip that it was happening and I happened to be nearby. That's why I felt an obligation to come in and go ahead and go live.
Damn, don't do that again, please. I don't think my heart can take it.
Yeah, it caught us off guard a little bit. Because again, they're already in the building, and it seemed like they've been in for a while. If there was anybody in there, they would have found them already, especially if they got dogs in there. But again, that's not confirmed. We don't know for a fact that it was their dogs. There was just dogs barking in that direction. Give me 2 seconds. I'll get some info up here for you. Kind of hear those dogs again.
They're busting through something. I can hear them loud banging.
Yeah. Not sure if y'all can hear that, but there is some kind of loud banging that is coming from that direction now after that flashbang that popped up right over the fence back behind the house.
SWAT's doing something.
Again, we were able to hear at least 4 times that SWAT announced through bullhorn, through megaphone, that they were going to be executing this search warrant, that anyone in that address should come out unarmed, which is protocol, what they are supposed to be doing when issuing search warrants. So it is good to see that they've done it in this case. Looks like he might be dismantling the battering ram that they have on their Bearcat there, which is an APV, armored personnel, or APC, sorry, APC or APV, armored personnel carrier, armored personnel vehicle, which are tanks. They are literally armored vehicles that are designed for safely carrying armed units behind armor, right? They are tanks. They're just not combative tanks. But as you can see, they can mount a battering ram on the front to even go through entire walls of houses whenever executing these warrants. And right there you can see that they have dismantled the battering ram, and now they are attaching and locking in the 2 pieces of pole that are put together to create that device. But again, this is on LMPD's tank, one of LMPD's tanks.
This is where the budget goes.
Yes. So whenever we are talking about increasing or decreasing police funding, you know, as was just stated, this is where that increase in budget would go, just to more toys. From what I can tell, it doesn't really look like anybody lives there. It is pretty rough, like you can see on that back half, you know, right here. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised, because the West End is riddled with rental properties owned by slumlords. So, I mean, they get away with a lot. There was 2 helicopters at one point. I think it's down to 1 at this point, and I'm not sure if it's SWAT or local media, honestly. Had an officer there getting some pictures.
Here they all come. Do kind of blend.
So what's that so far? This cost more.
Right. Absolutely. That's.
You can see members of SWAT now exiting. You can kind of hear dogs in the background again. Once again, that is unconfirmed potential drug dogs. That was our first thought, was that maybe they brought canine units if this was a drug raid. But we have not seen the canine units. We just hear the dogs off and on from that direction.
Must be detective.
Probably.
They brought tools in with them.
I used to know the call sign of the LMPD bird, but I don't remember it offhand at this moment. If John Cherry was here, he would know. Could approach and try to ask some questions, but anytime I've tried to approach SWAT and ask questions, I've never really gotten any details. It might be because a good number of them remember me from 2 summers ago. In particular, potentially the lieutenant that they have with them right now, because I've got lots to say about him if it is who I think it is, but I won't say his name because I haven't confirmed at the moment. So you're just going to have to wait for LMPD to give information to local mainstream, and then that mainstream will put it out, but it will be whatever LMPD says it is, essentially. So you'll have to take it with a grain of salt.
And they found something. Putting something in a bag. The detectives are. So much better now. Can I get his gloves on? Oh, we got a smaller bag. What a weird sack lunch. Clown car.
So I would assume the 2 gentlemen in the plain clothes are likely detectives. And if they are detectives, then that means that Obviously, there's probably some type of open investigation on this address. Looks like they might have placed a couple items in a plastic bag.
Paper bags.
Paper bags, apologies.
Gloves on, strut.
SWAT is getting their tank out of the way.
Oh, they threw something away. That's what they did.
So this detective's over here talking to, looks like maybe another detective now. So potentially 3 detectives on site. I'm not sure about that other gentleman. Khakis, blue shirt, and a tactical vest, so he's somebody. But they are now opening the intersections at either end of this block of Duncan. Shake your head all you want, John. It's news. Honestly, I'm not sure. Some type of search warrant on that.
Search warrant from Thurton. I ain't never seen them block out the street like that.
Right? But like
a search warrant?
There's a search warrant on that house.
Yeah, that's a SWAT tank.
Not sure why you'd be shaking your head there, John. SWAT issuing a search warrant seems like notable events to me. If you don't like seeing footage of the cops, maybe we should defund them so that there's less footage to take of them. How about that? Patch does say police, so they assume they are with LMPD, likely. Is that maybe someone in cuffs over there? Can't tell. There's a back door open, and there's a shorter gentleman that is standing outside that back door, but I can't tell if he's maybe with them or in cuffs.
Yeah, hello. They're looking at you just like you're looking at us.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Yes, he is cuffed. Looks like maybe removing his cuffs. It's like 2 people in cuffs. Got a man and a woman now that are presumed to be in cuffs, looks like. I mean, they opened up the street to traffic, so I'm gonna get closer. There are 2 detectives that are currently in the house, but I feel like filming the law enforcement handling the potential suspects a little more important at this moment. Oh, 3 detectives. They just came out. They're now looking around the front yard. They didn't come specifically from the house. They came from around the block. So it could have been possible LMPD picked them up in the back of the house. There was a flashbang that went off in the back of the house at some point during the raid. So it's possible LMPD caught them back there and then brought them around the back alley to the cars, if I had to guess. But that is speculation. Back there where those 2 officers just walked is where the 2 suspects were walked around from. Okay, we're down to 1 marked. We got 1 marked. One of the suspects was in the back of a mark that just left. Down to 1 mark down on the corner. I believe maybe the female suspect is in that one. And then we got the detectives that are still poking and prodding. Up. Forensics just showed up. So, one of the detectives' vehicles, this paper bag over here, presumably has, some type of evidence in it. He had to put gloves on to handle it, put it in the paper bag. But that is LMPD Forensics Crime Scene Unit, so CSI. That is the residence in question where they issued and served the search warrant. Again, LMPD, that we heard, did acknowledge the warrant and issue warnings via bullhorn, via megaphone from their Bearcat, from their tank, at least 4 times, saying, "We have a warrant for this address. If there's anyone, in there, come out with your hands up." So they did at least announce their presence, which is part of the protocol, but not always adhered to, as we witnessed in the Breonna Taylor case. We're in 1900 block of Duncan Street. I don't know the exact address. Honestly, I'm not sure which division that is either. I had a tip. Someone called me and said it was going on, so I happened to be coming towards the West End at the moment and decided to take a detour and see what we had. So if you saw the side of the house earlier, it is dilapidated. The back half is kind of starting to crumble, but you can see, maybe you can't, but I can see that there are actually some possessions and stuff inside the house. So maybe someone is living here. It looks like it's in some pretty rough condition, but there's some pretty rough houses in the West End that end up being livable somehow. A lot of slumlords, honestly. There was 6 or 8 marked units that were blocking the intersections at either end of the block. Looks like there's several detectives here right now. A woman taking pictures is with the forensics evidence lab that just pulled up, LMPD forensics. So we've got, looks like presumably 5 detectives there, and then someone from the crime lab currently documenting the scene. I must say I'm not a big fan of LMPD, but this seems to have been handled correctly. Some type of search warrant. I think there was a couple people that they got from the back putting cop cars down there, yeah. Looked like a man and a woman. Well, if the coroner is needed, if there is, a body that needs to be transported, that body would not be from shooting. Did not hear a single round discharged while they were executing this warrant. I heard some dogs barking. I haven't seen a drug dog yet, so I guess it wasn't a drug dog. Maybe just the dogs in the neighborhood. But if there is any bodies in there, it wouldn't be from gunshot from what I heard. That body might have been in there before they went in, but there was one single flashbang that went off in the back of the house. It wasn't even in the house, it was the backyard just behind the house. I could see the puff of smoke earlier. And then 2 people that were brought around from the back to the end of the block and put in vehicles. Had a local that's pulled up and is parked, a little looky-loo that's checking out what's going on. She asked, and when I said search warrant, she said about damn time. So apparently something neighborhood people might have been watching. I don't know. It is interesting. Which this is an old school thing. I don't know how much it still applies, but right there are some shoes hanging up on the line. So take that as you will. Yes, yes, she did.
What's up?
West End of Louisville, I believe on the 1900 block of Duncan Street. It's a park that I'm standing in right now. It's a small park. I think it might be Boone Square.
I'm okay with it. I gotta run by my boss.
That's what I'm saying. It definitely goes way back. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt, take it how you will. But there are some shoes hanging up on the line in front of this place. I haven't really ever been in the drug game, so I don't know what is still actively used and not used, personally. Two detectives and forensics right there. Looks like forensics is already rolling out. So I was able to just go and ask one of the detectives. You know, I basically just said, "Hey, I know it was a search warrant. You know, I heard SWAT saying that earlier. You can give me any details on the warrant, drugs, what?" He said, "No, can't get any details. Just active investigation." Whoop. Yeah, Chris Gore. That's actually the meaning that I was saying with the shoes. It was usually that's an indicator of a drug house, but that goes back to like the 90s. So again, I don't know if that's still, you know, relevant in modern drug trafficking. But again, I was able to ask one of the detectives if he could give me any details on what the search warrant was for. He said no, just active investigation. So they can't disclose any details. So those are the facts. The facts here are that there was just a warrant issued here on the 1900 block of Duncan Street. LMPD S.W.A.T, one of their divisions, came out. They issued a warning at least 4 times of the warrant and their intention to come in. Offered anyone the ability to come out with their hands up before they came in. So they did do the warnings, which is good. Shortly after that, SWAT rolled out. There was one flashbang that went off, sorry. So again, going by just the facts, let me start from the top. There was a search warrant that was issued here on the 1900 block of Duncan Street, west end of Louisville, Kentucky. There was SWAT that came in, issued 4 warnings. Anyone could come out with their hands up on arms before they came in. They went in there was a single flashbang that I heard go off in the back of the house, in the backyard. Saw a little puff of smoke. That was the only signs of any type of confrontation that there might have been. SWAT came back out, loaded up. There was cops that were blocking each intersection at the end of the block. 2 suspects were brought from the end of the block and put into 2 of those cop cars. All of the marked units left. There's been detectives and forensics here since, looking, at whatever they found in the house. Looked like maybe something was put in a brown paper bag by one of the detectives, but I don't know that for sure. And I asked one of the detectives, and he just said search warrant, can't give any details, active investigation. That's it. So those are the facts of what just happened here. That was forensics walking off. I mean, honestly, it's all calm here now, and from everything that I've seen, LMPD actually acted accordingly to their rules and regulations, so that is good. But it was just a search warrant, and everything seems to be copacetic. So, in that light, Jared Wright with Right Heart Media. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I'm gonna be live again, probably twice more today. A couple of events that I'm gonna be covering. But everything looks good here on the 1900 block of Duncan Street. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Stay strong, stay safe.